I'm gonna be your best friend.
Yeah, it's alright, brother.
That's alright.
I was in South Africa.
Yeah? Where?
I did the jungle show there.
Oh, which city?
We went to Cape Town.
That's where I'm from.
So no, we went to Joburg.
I'm not from there.
And then we took a small plane to the jungle.
You took a spare plane?
Small one.
Small plane?
Yeah, to the jungle.
With the propellers?
Yeah, no, it was a jet engine. But
Okay.
We went to Kruger National Park.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing. Have we started?
Oh, we could just
We
flow.
can just
It's
flow,
fine.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Don't we do a big welcome? Welcome, everybody.
Welcome everybody. We have Tahir. Look,
Yay! It's great to be here.
we'll give you a plug in now for your socials at Tahir Comedian.
That's it.
At
That's it.
Tahir Comedian. If anyone wants to follow him, Fat Pizza, Fake Lebo, whatever he wants to be called
Everything
by.
like, and I dropped my surname. No, I mean my name is Tahir Bilgic, but Tahir's enough. Tahir. And it's good. Reza,
It's me.
Maz, fantastic. Ali, and Kevin.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how this guy got this name, but anyway, we'll talk about that
We'll
later.
talk about that.
get into
That's his real name apparently.
It's my real name.
I know. I checked his driver's license.
It
I
came in handy.
did. I was shocked. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You got to go with whatever the name is. You got to go with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, at least you didn't change it.
Tahir, we have to ask you. You impersonate being Lebanese.
Mm.
Have you ever got belted up for that? I feel like you have a free pass to just
I
be a
haven't
half
been-
Lebo.
No, I haven't been belted up for it, but like initially, obviously, I played a character called Habib on Fat Pizza,
Yes.
Howzo, Swift and Shift Careers, who was a Lebanese Arabic character. But there was a character, right?
Yeah.
So people thought Fat Pizza was actually real. So, they just thought we were walking around, the camera just followed us. Okay, no, there was an audition process, everything So when I auditioned, I remember auditioning and he said, do something I did a few characters, accents. He goes, okay, I got a role, and that became my role. So when people find out, like some Lebanese people, they go, early on, not now, now they know, they go, what, you're not Lebanese? And they get like angry, like, oh my God, you're not Lebanese? Oh my God, like that's bullshit. And I was shocked the first time it happened. I go, just acting, bro.
Yeah.
It's not reality TV. It's a show. It's a sitcom. And I'm proud to be Turkish. Like some people go, oh, you don't say you're Turkish. I go, yeah, I do. In the early years, I always mentioned my background, heritage. It wasn't like of course I love Australia, but it's not like people. Yeah, I tell everyone I'm Turkish. And the minute if I do a show, I don't say I'm Turkish. People go, oh, why do you mention you're Turkish? Turkish guy. Somebody will come up to me. I go, bro, I do as much as I can. Relax. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I don't. It doesn't really matter. But so I haven't been belted up for it. But some people early on got angry, but now they know it's just a show.
Yeah.
It's called acting. Do you think Tom Cruise is really a police sergeant and whatever? Somebody or he did a
Flying
show
a plane or something.
It's an actor. He did a show called the Last Samurai, didn't he? The second Last Samurai.
A good
Tom
movie.
Cruise.
That's a solid movie.
It's a solid movie, but do we really believe his background? No.
I think he believes it. I think sometimes in real life he thinks I am a samurai.
That's right. But anyway, it doesn't happen as much now. It doesn't happen. People know it's a show.
Yeah, that's true.
And I've done it long enough when they go, yeah, this guy is an actor.
Yeah.
Comedian first, but actor second, which is also important because I do stand-up comedy. That's my passion. Live theatre acting just came as a result of me doing stand-up. So proud Turk, mate.
Proud Turk.
Proud Australian Turk.
Was there any specific person that inspired the character Habib? Like, who did you copy? Or
Look, good question. Not really. I mean, I remember, I grew up near Bankstown, George's Hall, so near Bankstown, where there was a lot of Lebanese Arabic people there, and I would listen. Go around the shopping centre, train station. You would hear these guys go, "Oh my God, look!" I go, it's really weird. I go, these people, because I knew some of those guys were born here.
Yeah.
I go, hang on, you're born here. How did you get that accent?
Yeah.
It's really, it's weird, isn't it? It's a legitimate question. You're born here in Australia. How did you get that? What? How did this happen? So I impersonated some of those. And my mate, I've got a mate I grew up with, Richard Shami, and he lived across the road from me because I had Serbia, Macedonia behind me, Serbian guy next to me. We're all different. Italian mate across the road, Lebanese, and Richard showed me and he would, and we'd knock on his door, so yeah, come on, let's go play footy or muck around the creek or whatever, and when we knocked on his door, he wouldn't answer. We hear from the house, Wale, like that. That was it. I thought he was saying Yule. I didn't know it was Wale. I thought it was Yule. So I put that into the character. I said, every time we answer the phone, if you watch a show, I go, Yule, and that became one of my catchphrases. Everyone copied it. It became and you could use that for anything. I answer the phone, Yule, which is a very short case. Let's get straight into the chat. Let's not say, hello, how are you? Good, yeah. Yule, he says Yule, and then you just start talking about what you want to talk about. And it's everywhere. If you're getting upset, Yule, if you want to get someone's attention. Yeah. And people often go, what does that mean? You say it all the time, and they copy it. I go, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
I thought he was saying Yule, but he was saying Wale, which is different in Arabic, so that's how that came about. It doesn't mean anything. People go, what does it mean? I go, nothing. Absolutely nothing. So yeah, that's why I got a little bit of that, and a little bit of what I saw, what I heard. That's what actors do, just incorporate all that, but no one specifically.
Of the various roles that you've had on screen and whatnot, which one did you enjoy the most?
The role, I played a Turkish character once in Here Come the Habibs. I made sure he was Turkish. His name was Mustafa, named after my dad. Not that he was a taxi driver, but he was a chauffeur back in Turkey. When I say chauffeur, not chauffeur, that's probably the wrong thing, but he was teaching other people how to drive.
Right.
He was a driving instructor. So I enjoyed that, and I don't think because I created that show. I was one of the creators of that show, and that sat on my laptop for 10 years. That show I did, believe it or not, 10 years. I remember I wrote 2.5 pages. Bang! It was off one of the stage shows we did. I thought, this would be funny if a Lebanese Arabic, or not even just an ethnic family, moved to a rich suburb, and it has to happen fast. So that's why they win lotto. That moves them there fast. Can't happen slowly, because if they happen slowly,
they'll adjust to it.
They'll adjust to it and their ways. But we did it fast. They come from the suburbs. They won lotto. So I feel like they've got to move to a big house. They moved to a big mansion, big rich white suburb, and they brought their ways with them straight away. What would happen, And that was a whole premise of the show. And I wanted different stuff. We wanted goats in the front yard and sheep. And we wanted the father was getting so upset because there's so much money's going. But even though he's won millions, he's still tight. He's got just a factory job in the suburbs. So all this money's going out, and we wanted ATM machines in the house, and the family could only withdraw money based on what he allows it through the ATM machines. All these crazy ideas. But anyway, that sat on my laptop for 10 years. And finally we said, let's do something about it. And we did something about it. And because it was a Lebanese show, I had the small character of the Mustafa, who's the friends of the Lebanese father. And I love that character. He brought his best mate with him. So when he won a lotto, he brought his best mate Mustafa with him, and he became his full-time driver. Mm-hmm. And always around the house, eating in the kitchen, and he'd always be there. He'd jump in front of him, take a bullet if he had to. Yeah. But it was a great character, very, very funny. He'd be sleeping on the taxi bonnet at times, he'd be doing it, whatever. But that was a fun character. I enjoyed that. Street Smart, which we did with Channel 10, and that was Steve, and that was dumb criminals, dumb idiots. They was just trying to get a shortcut in life. And it was more comical in a serious way. And I thought it was a great show, but we didn't get enough backing from the network. So we did one season of that one, but that was a good character.
Yeah.
Very fun. Kids can watch it, family show, fun. But I don't know, they just didn't give enough support, didn't give enough promos. They lost faith straight away. It was really weird. The numbers were pretty good. Great show, great feedback, but one season of that and gone.
How hard is it to actually get a show or a film like that greenlit?
Very hard. Yeah, very hard. Because in Australia, we don't take enough risks. We don't have to take chances. Shows work. The big reality shows work, but there's a lot of people you've got to appease, and even Here Come the Habibs would not have been given approval, say, we won back 5-10 years. No. We can't have that sort of stuff on television. Not the ethnics, no. And Channel 9 of all the networks, the most conservative white channel, they said yes to it, which was great, because There was Andy, Ryan, and it was beautiful, like support. And they realised they had to do something different because they're losing eyeballs all the time. There's, do people watch TV anymore? Less and less these days. Everyone's watching, streaming, downloading. There's so many different options now. In the good old days, there was only 4 channels when we were growing up.
Yeah.
You guys were kids. There was just 4 channels. That was it. Options limited. Now there's, and so the numbers are coming down. So they did that, and we had great numbers. We did 2 seasons of Here Come the Hubbies. That finished because it's a very expensive show to make. Very expensive. We're hiring out the mansions, helicopters. We're moving the family out to a 5-star hotel. It's a very, very expensive show. Hundreds of people everywhere. So very hard to answer your question. It's not easy getting shows up. And we take, we get ideas from overseas. That's a problem. That's a problem. And if something works overseas, they go, let's do that here in Australia. No, why don't you take a risk? Roll the dice a bit. There's a lot of ideas, great ideas. A lot of people, great ideas here, but the networks are so slow to move. We can't do that. Why not? Look what you're doing now. It's not working. Most of it's rubbish. You do a show, it's not working. And sometimes you see a show like The Masked Singer. Have you seen The Masked Singer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if I saw the show being pitched, I'd put my hand up. I go, oh my God, you sure this is going to work? Someone puts this crazy head on, but it works because it's family viewing as well. And that's the key. Family, the big things that if you get the families to watch, people enjoy it. And that's a lot of my shows, last 10 years of family viewing. So I don't do Fat Pizza anymore or the other show, even though it's still going. But it's nice to do family, viewing stuff. It's harder to do, actually. It's easier to do like a niche audience. Hey, I'm going to entertain 20-year-old boys only. That's easy. But when you go for a wide family, like kids, parents, grandparents, it's actually harder to do that type of show. But we should do some Turkish shows.
100%.
Do you remember because I always tell, I've done this in my stand-up routine. There's a Turkish, they have Australian Idol. Now, have you seen Turkish Idol?
No.
I haven't seen it.
No.
I haven't seen it.
Back in the days, yeah.
There's a stage that goes up or down, depending on how you go. It's the funniest show ever. It's called İniyor mu çıkıyor mu? I don't know if you've ever seen that. So the singer performs on the stage based on the audience reaction and judges. So the stage goes up or down. So if you're rubbish, if you're shit, the stage starts going down, and you slowly just disappear.
You just vanish.
That's it, you're out.
It's the funniest show ever. So in Turkey, if you're a shit singer, we don't listen to the whole song. I'm sorry, we don't have time.
Just drop through the floor.
You don't get the whole 3 minutes. I'm sorry. Within 1 minute, you're gone. Right? And it's so funny to see them go down at the top of the heads, and then sometimes they go down because the song starts slowly, but sometimes then it kicks in and the voice kicks in and they start coming back up again. But it's a funny. But would we do that show in Australia? No. Why? We might hurt their
offend them,
feelings.
yeah.
We might offend them. That might, oh my God, we won't. But overseas, there's more risk taken.
But don't you think that's weird? Because a lot of people kind of portray Turkey or Islamic countries as very conservative. But then for the arts, they're free to do things like that.
They're free to do things like that because there's less. I think they take more risks. You're right. It's a good point. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. But you have, the Japanese, they just do crazy TV.
Exactly.
And I think Masked Singer came from Japan, and that's my point. If we hadn't seen that overseas, would we do that here? No. If I pitched a Masked Singer, imagine if I pitched it before it was seen anyway. People said, out of the office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? You want to get celebrities and put these crazy masks on them and sing, and then we're going to guess? Leave now. It just wouldn't.
It's so much more
do it.
conservative.
Now we saw it overseas and it's very popular. Let's do it. Cooking shows, different. We copy a lot of shows. But some stuff are very important to Australians, like renovation. The block's very big here.
Yeah.
We sold that overseas to America. Flopped because they don't really care about renovation there.
That DIY, do-it-yourself, build it culture.
They're not really. They're not really.
we're
That's
big on
not the
that.
culture here. We're in that culture.
You talk about family viewing. One show that's on these days, which I find ridiculously hilarious, is Gogglebox. So
Yep.
you're sitting there watching people watch TV.
I know.
That's ridiculous.
It's crazy. And again, came from overseas.
Yeah.
Once again, imagine we all pitched that show before it was even a thing. So, okay, what's your idea? We're here, 5 of us. We want to pitch a show with people watching show and we're watching them watching shows and just commenting. They go, what? What is this crazy idea? It was Kevin's idea. Sorry. We'd get kicked out, honestly.
Yeah.
Again, no risk, no foresight, no, come on, take a risk, put it on the line. But no, they just, it's worked overseas, getting good numbers, let's do it here. But yeah, you're right. It's just, I wish we'd take more. We do have great creators here and good original ideas, but I wish the executives would, come up with some. And I've got lots of ideas. I wish they'd come and see me more. Say, hey, what else you got? Like they should say, you've done a lot of different things over the years. What else do you have?
Go speak to Netflix. They seem like they're creative and
I
they
think that's where a lot of
the
people
streaming
go.
services now. Their doors are more open.
I know, and I think because I honestly don't. I fear for Australian television because what's going to happen is numbers are coming down, advertising coming down, and the only thing that rates is the news and some big. You got Australia's Got Talent, things like that still do really well. Some of those big, The Block, some of those shows that do really well, but other than that, everything else is coming down slowly.
Because you got Super Walk on Netflix now. Aussie boys.
Yeah, they're great.
So you're the OG of that, and they acted way before you.
Yeah, no, they watched us. They because they were because I remember I've met them a number of times, and a friend of mine is their manager, but they said, they grew up on Fat Pizza and all that sort of stuff, and it was awesome to see. I mean, you got to remember, Fat Pizza in its day was huge.
It was massive.
It was like 1 million viewers a week. But at that time, we were on SBS, and there was no advertising on SBS. So you got to remember this. So they didn't care. Like on any other network, we would have been superstar heroes. SBS, they go 1 million viewers. We were matching the other. The other networks were moving shows around to compete against us. I remember clearly, because there was Fat Pizza and what's the other one? The cartoon one, the Kenny where Kenny dies.
South Park.
That's right. It was Fat Pizza and South Park was a double, which everyone watched. And because we had so many big numbers, like ratings wise, I remember Channel 9 moving like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and things against us, trying to break them up. And SBS now there's advertising SBS. It wasn't back then, but so now it's different. But it was big in its day.
Take us back to the humble beginnings. You were a teacher.
Yes, I was a teacher.
Where did the comedian in you come? Because Mazza was a teacher.
And
he's nowhere near as funny as you. Right?
We don't know that.
I did 2 years as a teacher.
Yep.
Straight out of, so I graduated in the school that I graduated from. They said, look, you know what, you're a great student. Come back and teach over here. So they offered the job. I took it up. But
what were your subjects?
I did maths, primarily maths, high school maths.
Maths?
Yeah.
Of course, you're Pakistan, you're engineer.
That's it. numbers. Dad was an accountant, it runs in the blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kev, what about you?
What did I do in school?
Yeah.
Economics.
Of course.
Maths. I did a shit job at it though.
Ali, you're into numbers too. Come on. You're a scientist.
I did economics and finance
Economics,
as well.
finance.
Yeah.
So I started entertainment.
Did you?
Yeah.
In South Africa?
No, here. I started entertainment here.
There's no entertainment in South Africa.
No, I'd beg to differ. But
I'm just joking,
sorry.
of course. We'll come back to that.
So I started entertainment, and then I went to go work in the media industry after that. And I used to go document tours of artists. So I would shoot. I love that. I would shoot like the concerts and things like that. And then after I finished that, then I have to go do the after party. So I'd set up the after party.
Yep.
And then go shoot it as well. And then the next day go to the stadium, do it
that'd be
all
so
over
interesting.
again. Yeah. So
So who'd you work with as well?
So there's a few artists that I was on. I've been on tour with. So I've been on tour with Drake. So I spent a few weeks in the UK on that tour there. Tory Lanez when he came here. Juice WRLD before he died. Who else was there? I'm forgetting someone.
People love goss though. Give us the artist who was the easiest to work with and the heart like.
I'd say in terms of teams, because it's because you're working in a team environment, right? Especially on a tour. So in terms of teams, Drake's team is 100% the easiest team to work with.
Yeah, right.
From my own experience, I don't know how other people might have different experience.
Yeah.
My own experience was that.
You.
I hope so, but nobody had egos.
Yeah, right.
That's what I found personally. Yeah. Nobody had an ego. Everyone was trying to show me things and teach me things. This is how you do this. When you talk to this person, speak in this way.
Right.
When you walk like this, and there's different reasons of why they showed me those things. So in my daily life, I'm a bit different, but when it comes to being on a tour or that sort of environment, I'm very different to how I would be just interacting with other people because of that.
I like to hear that, because that's one of my pet hates, ego, because I just hate, like, people go, because I've always been relaxed, and I'll go back to how I started, like, the question, but I've always been relaxed, but I hate ego. I despise it, because I met a lot of different people in my industry, a lot of big names as well, small names, actors, artists, singers, everything. And when I see ego, I mean, you are no better than another human being. When people think you're better than another human being, based on what? Just because you've done something or you got money, who cares? Don't treat someone else. You see the way they treat people, this person or like, relax. Everyone else is a human. Like, it really bugs me. Like, I'm not talking about when they do crazy things. Some artists do crazy things, like Barbra Streisand always wants a white piano in her hotel room, one backstage and one on stage, right? 3 things. No worries, that's good. You've got the money, you can request that, whatever makes you feel comfortable. Or you want blue M&Ms, sometimes I want backstage stuff, I want blue M&Ms, or I want this or that, whatever.
Blue M&Ms.
Yeah.
Is that a real thing?
It's a real thing.
Oh shit!
It can get quite particular.
You know how that started? Because I started with a band years ago, right? Because that's our writers backstage. I go, what do you want? Like, bands always get writers, like food, drinks, what do you want? And this band said, okay, because in the contract, they weren't sure if the promoter's reading the contract. So as one line, they said, we want a bowl full of blue M&Ms only.
It's a nightmare.
I don't know if it's blue, but it was one colour, anyway, red or but whatever it was, like, it was just one. So they turned up to their gig and they went backstage, they looked at the bowl. If that was there, they knew the promoter read the contract fully.
Oh, okay.
If it wasn't there,
That
they
makes
knew,
sense.
okay, they have not read the contract fully. They were upset. That's how it all started. So, like, now people make all these demands. But but if you want to demand that, I don't have a problem with that. If you've got the right to demand crazy stuff, and if you want to pay for it, if you earned it. But I'm talking about treating other human beings. They're different. Don't talk down to people like you're better than them, just because you're a singer or famous or you got money. Who cares? No one cares. No human is more important than another human. I just hate ego. So I'm glad that Drake doesn't have it, which is great.
That's been my experience. That whole team has been really solid.
So how did you control your ego when Fat Pizza was booming?
Because I
you had
realized
so much fame.
I realized it was just a show. Like,
Right.
I was mature enough, and probably I was in my mid-20s. Maybe if I was a teenager, I could have, oh my God, I'm really good.
Yeah.
But no, I realized, okay, I'm just, in my mid-20s, and people like, I know some of these girls are just talking to me because of the show. I get that. You know what I mean? Like, I understand the whole what was going on. Like, and in the end, I enjoy meeting people anyway, so it's not a big deal to meet people, have some photos, this, that. It wasn't a big deal for me. Like, and I understand what it was. That's the whole point. But to go back, let me tell you how it started. Like, so I always loved comedy and humour, right? And I was in primary school, Beverly Hills North in Sydney, and that each you played sport on Fridays, and then each time you played sport the following week, somebody had to do a sports report. So that's how it all started. This is going in my book, by the way, which I'm writing like that.
Okay.
Awesome.
So you're getting a little teaser right here on this show.
Exclusive.
Scoop.
I'm happy about it.
Yeah, scoop. So, and one time we're on the bus, and nobody would volunteer because you're in primary school. Nobody wants to get up in front of the whole school and do a sports report. Everyone's, I go, I'll do it. Like, I go, I had to take turns, and my turn. I go, okay, my turn. Got up, I thought I'd throw a few jokes in there. I'll say jokes are stupid, like, I'll say, hello, girls and toys, instead of girls and boys. Just basic stuff like that. It was one of my gags, like, like, hey, I've got something to say. I remember, like, even that would get, in primary school, the kids would just laugh and just go off. And so I did that, and they laughed, and it encouraged me more. Like, oh my God, I actually got them laughing.
I'm smart. I'm funny.
Yeah.
Right?
And then, I'd, they go, can you do it again next week? You're so funny. And I did it. Week after week, it was me always doing the sports reports. And then I remember the anticipation, okay, and then me going up in front of the stage, get on the mic, there's a bit of murmur, okay, this is going to be good. The teacher would be looking forward to it. I go, what a feeling it was. I enjoyed that feeling. And I remember I even did this one week. This is how not creative, but like I was thinking about the arts. One week I got up, Ali, you love this because something different, right? Something curveball. I'm going to do a serious one, straight one.
Right.
So I got up, and there was murmur to see, yeah, Tahir's going off. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. Every week we get a good laugh. I just did straight, no jokes.
Oh.
And then I just went back and sat down. And I remember everyone going, what happened there? What happened there? But even back then I was experimenting. I want to try different things on the audience. See what happens here. So don't always expect what you're going to get, right? You might get, you never know what you're going to get with me. And I clearly remember the feeling, but that's what all started. I remember the feeling that from that moment I was hooked, and always studying comedy, looking at it, collecting stuff, having a look at comedy movies, funny articles, funny quotes. And I used to be just collecting like funny quotes and articles and stuff, and I don't know what I was even collecting it for. I used to just enjoy it, just to have it, and I used to love that sort of funny words and things and funny expressions, sayings, and until I went to I was at uni studying teaching, and then finally I heard about this open mic thing. Like comedy, that's how people start. Like, what is it? What is this open mic? They said where anybody can turn up and just get up and do. I thought, what? It blew my mind. Like most people would be scared of that.
100%.
I was there I couldn't wait to get down there. Sydney Comedy Store. They go, oh, bang! I was there. I go, this is beautiful, and I knew I had to get up. And I've told the story before, but I'll tell it. Like I got up. I got there. And I thought, yes, I'm going to get up. I got my 5 minutes ready, and I went down to the Comedy Store. And you had to go on Tuesday night. That's when it was, when I started. Open mic night, Tuesday nights, midweek, not Friday. So that's when the professionals did it. You put your name down, up you go, you get called up, and the MC will call you up and do it. I said, yeah, I'm going to do this. I had my 5 minutes ready. I got up, I was so nervous. I said, nah. I'm going to come back next week. I'll never forget. I knew I was going to do it, but I wasn't ready mentally. And I came back next week. I chickened out again. And I swear to God, this went on for 5 weeks.
Wow.
Every week I was there, and I wasn't.
And you didn't get blacklisted. Just keep seeing your name there. You're not popping up.
No, I turn up with intention to put my name. I wouldn't put my name down.
Right. Okay.
So I was
right.
No, I'm not. Next week I'll be back.
Okay.
Just going to watch this week. I remember on the 5th week I was pumped up to do it. I was ready to do it, but their numbers were so low at the Sydney Comedy Store. They moved the show to the front bar. I clearly remember it. It was away from the main room because the numbers were so low. They go, well, let's move it to the front bar. And the stage was set up against this window, free entry to get in. The buses on Parramatta Road were going past, just literally metres behind you. And I looked around the bar, a couple of old guys, just drunks, just sitting at the bar, free entry, I go, nah, this can't be my debut. So I chickened out again. And then week 6, I came back. It was back in the normal room, and I had 4 mates with me, and I put my name down, got up and did it, and it actually went really well for the first time, because I had my 4 mates there, and they were dying. They were ready to laugh at anything because I was up there. They go, look at that, look, our mate's up there. So they were there.
Do you remember your first joke that you said when you went up there?
Not really, Ali. I can't. Yeah, good question, but I can't remember my first joke. I just remember the boys sitting and laughing at everything, and the crowd was laughing as well. That was because I knew they were laughing. Okay, I'm going to make them laugh because they're my mates. But then others were laughing. I go, well, this is pretty good. And then within a couple of weeks, I remember the manager invited me to perform on a Saturday night, not as a paid act or a headline, or something, just as a 3 minutes in between. They'd invite if they thought someone had something, they'd go, why don't you come up on Saturday night? And I didn't do as well. Like my mates, but because eventually when you start comedy, it's easy to get a crowd because all your friends and family will come.
Yeah.
But they can't come every week. How long can they come for? Eventually they started dropping off, and I just had to rely on myself and performance. And but yeah, Saturday night went really well. And then that's how it all started. Did
you practice your comedy on your students?
I did actually. I did, and they'll tell you it was like a Tonight Show. That's what it's like. They'd all admit it. So the first couple of minutes would always be some jokes and, and then we'd get onto the lesson, right? But, it was good. And a lot of them come to my shows. I like teaching. I enjoyed teaching. I actually loved it. I didn't leave because I didn't like it. I just left because comedy took over and became more and more, I became busier. Eventually I was going away a lot. I was taking a lot of days off. I couldn't believe it. In Australia, you get sick days. What?
It's fake sick days.
It was incredible. So I couldn't believe the system because all the teachers were scared of taking days off and that nobody wanted to have the most sick days because the principal goes, this person got the most sick days. I go, in Australia, teaching, you get 22 sick days. You take a day off, full pay. Then, if you take more than 22, you get 22 half sick days. This is too good, this is too good. I had the most of all the other teachers, but the principal knew what I was doing too. So I'd be going to Perth or wherever, Adelaide, different places. But I'd do a lot of extra curricular stuff. I do the school musical. I do a lot of extra stuff in my own time. So, she let me off. She knew, so it balanced itself out.
When you have a comedy set, so you prepare everything in your mind about what you're going to deliver on the night and whatnot, and you have I'm assuming some creative license depending on the crowd and the atmosphere. Do you have a really good memory to be able to retain all that? But that's quite a lot of content to keep up there.
Yeah, well, people often they go, "How did you speak for 40 minutes straight or 45 minutes straight?" But it's a routine. Yeah, you're right. Like you got to. I think anybody can do it. Like it's like anything. Every job has its own like strengths and weaknesses. Like I could say the same to you. I say, how do you remember those formulas and the mathematical equations and that? How do you remember all? But it's just your body of knowledge. It came up. But when you first start comedy, what you have is what you have. I had a 20-minute routine. That was it. So I'd turn up and that was my act. I couldn't change it. I couldn't. If I was doing a show in the bush, I was mostly just white Australia there. Hello, I got my Bankstown jokes. And they'd just be looking at me, look at this guy. But eventually I've got like a big body of work where, as I'm doing the show now, I could actually take things out. As I'm speaking, I'm thinking about the next gag. I'm talking, performing, but I'm thinking, okay, what's going to come? I think I'll do this routine for this crowd. I'll do so if it's a multicultural crowd, I'll do my ethnic material. If not, I'll do other stuff. I'll do generic stuff. I can do audience. I can do different things now. I can, mix and match. But when you first start, what you have is what you have, and that's it. But that builds up with time,
What's the hardest crowd you ever presented to?
A drunk audience.
Okay.
That's the worst. And when you do my job, you come across drunk audiences, unfortunately.
Is it because of hecklers?
Well, they just don't know what's going on. They don't laugh.
Yeah, I don't mind hecklers. Like, there's no problem. But, because I banter with the audience. I quite like it. And I like them to be involved. And that's fine. They say funny stuff. I give them credit. And I don't like to pick on anybody. I just talk to them. Because I'm genuinely want to know about people. Because I've met people with interesting jobs and backgrounds and names and country, all sorts of stuff. But a drunk person is drunk. They're spoiling the show. They don't know what they're calling out stuff. And these days, I don't have time for it. And honestly, I give them 1-2 warnings and then out. Kick them out, security, gone. Because I'm there for the people. And you can see the crowd, when a drunk starts, they might say something. And as a comedian, there's nothing worse because you want, sometimes I leave a pause, a gap. I do it on purpose. And when they call out, they've just ruined that gag. They've ruined the moment that I built. You hold the audience. And then when you lose that trust in someone's going to call out, or for a performer, a microphone that cuts in and out, so same thing. When you lose trust in your microphone, there's nothing worse. And then I said, God, and the moment's gone. Like, the moment's gone. So they don't know when to be quiet. Unfortunately, it's the alcohol, which is terrible, and it's the worst. And these days, I just don't stand for it because you can see the audience turning. And they go, shut up, because they're here to listen to an act. So now I just remove it. Sorry.
Like mid-act, you just say, get out of here.
Out, security.
Doesn't it ruin the mood?
Look, I give them warnings. I'll make jokes about it. I say,
right.
One more. And usually they can't because the devil is talking, the alcohol is talking. So bang, they can't help themselves. And we've had a couple of laughs. And by then the audience has had enough. And when I kick them out, you know what the audience does?
The cheer.
They clap and cheer because they want them to go on too, because they're there for a show. It's ruining. They accept one laugh, but so that's the worst thing. Other than that, audience are, great. And I've got this skill and the body of work to adapt to any crowd. It could be straight, clean, super clean, a wedding, corporate function. It could be out in the bush with Australian miners, and it's a different kind of joke.
Or
super
in Africa.
dirty, super clean. Yeah, or in Africa. So I can adapt now, and that's a skill set you build up over the years. But yeah, most audiences are great these days. They're the old days when people thought, call out heck, that was in the 80s and 90s. I started comedy mid-90s, but before that it was all about heckling. I heckle, you say something funny, we all laugh. Those days are gone. Some people think no. Some people call out stuff and they go, did you like when I called out stuff? No. I prefer to just be quiet. Most of us prefer to be quiet, just listen and enjoy the show. Yeah. You can tell they have lines ready sometimes, because I'll be getting laughs, and all of a sudden they'll call out, when's the comedy going to start?
That's always that one.
That's
always that one. I go, hang on, mate. You've been dying to say that line. Have you not heard all the laughter and clapping before that? You said that, but they've turned up ready. I'm going to say something funny, but it's all part of it. I've seen it all. Nothing surprises me. These days, honestly, nothing surprises me. I've been in that many different situations, scenarios, and gigs. Nothing. And when I first started, within the first 10 years, if I had a bad gig, which all comedians do, you're going to have some ups and downs, you take it personal, it upset you. But now I leave, gone. Not enjoyable, of course, but you go. And it doesn't happen as much in the first 10 years. Because when you start comedy, you think, I'm good, but you don't realise it takes years to to hone the profession and the art. And I remember about 10 years into it as a stand-up comedian, I remember, okay, now I'm starting to really hit my straps. I'm really starting to, every show is dynamic, every show is good. I can really adapt to any scenario. 10 years. What was I doing before? I got no idea. I don't know how. It's almost like a trick. You trick yourself into thinking you're good.
Yeah.
Because if every comedian started and realised how bad and shit you were, we'd all give up and there'd be no comedians on the planet. But it's almost you got to go through those gigs.
When you bomb a set,
yep,
how do you recover after that? Because you're going into that with the anxiety of I just bombed my last set. And I built this set, I took all this time to create this. And now you have to go do another show. It's probably might even be the same set that you've prepared. Yeah. I bombed it. Will this work on the new audience? How do you tweak things? How do you go into it again?
It was the audience. It wasn't me. I know.
I'm the best. It's the audience.
It's the audience, mate. They've got a problem, not me. But it happens. Obviously, these days, I demand it. I will squeeze the audience. I will change tact. I will do something. I will get out of them what I need to get out of them. But in the early days, it happened. Not so much these days, really. And if something happens now, I know that it's out of my control. So honestly, it's not big noting myself, but sometimes you turn up to a gig and people are standing. Okay, that's bad news. Straight away for a performer, standing up is bad.
Why is that?
Because usually they're holding a drink, they're walking around, it's not formal, and if you're doing that, they start talking.
They're not engaged.
They're not engaged, they're talking, the people at the back, you can move around. As soon as people are seated, it becomes formal. Or the microphone is cutting it, it's bad sound. If you can't hear, I'm not going to listen. Or
eating. That wasn't a contract.
I know.
No eating when Tahir's performing.
I know. Well, every time we go to funk, they go, okay, what we'll do is we'll serve the food and then we'll bring the comedian out. No, it doesn't work. It works with a singer or something else. But even singers shouldn't, any entertainment, when people are eating, you should be eating and talking to your table and chatting. But if you're trying to cut up some steak or chicken, and
you just hear everything.
There's plates and things and knives and forks and people trying to chew a cow. You can't be listening to what's going on. Comedy needs focus and attention. It needs all that. It's usually outside external things which out of my control. And that's why we're big on I'll look around the room. I'm coming there. That's when I came to your function. I came around. I studied the room. I had a look. Went and had a chat to the sound guys at the back, which I got everything ready, and okay, I had a few different directions I could go. I'm looking at the. That's why I think I even mentioned to you like food was coming out. I thought just in case it brings me on, I go,
no,
don't bring me out now, because I remember having making eye contact, and you knew. I thought just in case it brings me out now, and of course we had Peter Bowl, the Olympian legend, who was a perfect time. It was in between the entrees and thing, but like, and then of course entrees, the main meals happened, and some people left. That's the way it is. Some people got to go back to work, and they think it's finished, whatever. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Whoever there, we had a good time. And, but so look,
that was the first time I saw a comedy act. Like I've never been to a comedy show. Are
you serious?
That was the first time.
No stand-up show.
Nothing.
You got to go to a comedy club. You'll people actually come to a comedy club and they go, you know what? It's the first time I've been to a comedy club, and they forget it's a great night. It's actually it's live. It's a different experience to watching a movie or something else. And when you go to a new country, it's actually a good thing to do. Go find a comedy club, and you get a little bit of culture and a little bit of. I'm finding a few little things. I'm getting a little bit of, something about the culture, the ethos, the attitude. It's actually a really good thing to do if you go to a different country and find a comedy club and watch it. But you have Melbourne, where you are, Comics Lounge, Premier Club, right? It's been running for years, 6 nights a week.
Okay.
6 nights a week. They're there, North Melbourne, Errol Street, right? Beautiful club. Great guys that run it. I mean, it's a great. People often get surprised. They go, we forgot what it was like. As well, they say that. Come up to a club, and of course, comedy clubs, there's no rules. So if you're easily offended or you're going to worry about swearing, well, it's not.
That was going to be my next question. The cancel culture. How do you sit down and be like, I can't offend these snowflakes? Or do you just don't care and you go for it?
Look, it's happened, and we've all felt it, and you've just got to adapt. So I'm changing all the time. And look, a couple of things. I steer clear from religion anyway. For example, I don't joke about religion. I just don't go there, because I've seen people do it, and it can be funny, but it also people get offended, and people really react differently. Like, so I steer clear from it. I don't want to offend even other people's religions. I'm not going to joke about their faith and whatever. Like, it's just, for me, I just don't go there. And bang, it's just a problem solved. Because I've seen people laugh, and then someone just says something about religion, and they go, and bang, it just changes, or they walk out, or, and it's fair enough. Like, you can't make fun of that. That's their faith and religion. Like, if it's not yours, it doesn't matter. It's not. Don't make fun of their beliefs. So I stay away from that. And politics, believe it or not, people love to make politics. I just find politics a little bit boring, to be honest. Like, it's, some comedians, like, that's what they do, but I just stay away from that, because again, people just take it so personally. Make a joke about Liberal or Labor or something, or this person or Prime Minister, and they could take it so personal, either side. So I just choose to stay away from it and keep it fun. But the cancel culture, I believe some comedians don't believe there's a line in comedy. I believe there is. Some comedians believe like anything is possible, which maybe in a way it is, depending on how you handle it. But having said that, I believe there's also a line, and some, choose to cross it. They think, this is me, I'm crossing, I'm being brave, or I'm being, dynamic and really. But, I just think, no, you're not there to, I've seen comedians upset an audience. That's not your job. Well, you think you've been brave and, oh my God, look, I'm a risk taker because I've gone where other comedians haven't gone. There's a reason why. So the cancel culture, whilst it's a little bit sad in a way, because I'm saying like, it's too much. Like political correct, too much.
Because you from the 90s, like, you could say whatever you want and get away with it.
Like, and
it's not like that anymore.
You look at that fat pizza, it was groundbreaking in its day. But now, like, you look at it, like, back in its day, it was like groundbreaking, because we're doing stuff which other people were not doing or saying. But now, with with YouTube and all this sort of stuff, people can see anything.
It's too racist.
It's too, it just, so you can, I like talking about race and different stuff, but like, people just, sometimes people, if I start talking about culture or racism, other people get offended for other people. It's crazy. Like if I talk about Indians, you shouldn't say that. You know what? Look at the Indians in the audience. They're laughing. They'll let me know if it's not if it's too much.
Like when you done a joke about the Queen on our one, when the Queen was going down because the Turkish idol thing. My brother got offended because he loves the Queen. He's like, I almost walked out. I'm like, what are you talking about, man?
That's what I'm saying.
It was so funny.
To let people know, so it was a fresh joke. Because I said, the Queen passed away. And I said, my mum loved the Queen, so I love the Queen.
Yeah.
I love the Queen. Like, who doesn't love her? She's a great lady who just really, anyone who does diligence to a role and job and gives her time, I love it. You've got to respect that, right? But I said, the march was long. I said, if lucky I wasn't part of the family because I wasn't fit enough to be in the march. They marched for 3 days straight. It went for ages. And then they went from church to church. I said it was like a church crawl. I didn't know what was happening. And then, of course, when she started lowering, going down, I said, oh my God, she's on Turkish Idol. And then your brother got it, it's just funny, guys. It's not saying anything bad. That's a good example. People, don't take that personal. It's just funny. It's just a comment. I'm not saying anything about her or the thing. It's not even to be lowered in a coffin. It's not even a religious thing. It's just she's going down, obviously, into the into the thing. That's what they do. That's the royal family's whatever tradition, So it's funny how some jokes seem racist, but they're not.
Yeah.
Just if you mention something, they go, "Oh, hang on, well, there's other people here." They look around,
I feel like people forgot to laugh. Like people forget to have fun now these days.
In a way, you could even say it's about building awareness. If you're, let's say you're having a go at one particular culture, you're making a joke out of it, whatever it is, you're building awareness about that culture to other people. If you're having a joke about, I don't know, some particular Asian culture, and I'm not from that culture, you're making me aware of that culture and some of the nuances about that.
That's
and whatnot.
true.
I appreciate that.
And you know what? It's funny because they love to be represented at a show.
Yeah.
And then when you don't talk about it, you didn't mention us, the Moroccans. We were here. You didn't mention us. Well, what do you want to do? Go for all the countries? And then when you mention one Moroccan, say, what did you mention Moroccans for? That was rude. You can't honestly, you just can't. I remember doing I get a lot of Turkish people coming watching me, which is great. And our numbers aren't big in Australia. They're quite small when you compare it to other nationalities. And I've done a lot of Turkish material early on, but I don't always do that. And I remember I did a show in Wollongong with the boys called Crazy Rich Ethnics. I was with an Italian and a Greek, and they talked about their cultures. And by that time, I was doing more generic stuff. And the Turkish guy goes, "Mate, well, I've come to all your shows, but I'm disappointed. And you didn't talk about your, Turkish heritage, culture, that sort of stuff." And I just replied back, I said, "Look, fair enough. But I've done that before in other shows. I've now moved on to some other material. If I was doing a show which is mostly Turkish audience, fair enough. And they came with the table, right? But I said, you've seen me before do that stuff. What do you want to hear it again? In my audience, I've got the Turkish people, which I love. I love to see Turkish people in my crowd. I love it. It's nothing sometimes I said there'll be 4 tables in the front. I go, this is going to be a good night. They've all come out. It's beautiful and I love it. But sometimes the Turks don't come out to support. They go to other people. They go, but you should come out and encourage each other. But he had a point. But what he does now, I've got different people coming. I've got the Fat Pizza fans and the Housos and different people coming. I've got my own fans. I've got the Turkish people. I've got comedy fans coming. I get quite an eclectic, different group coming to watch me. Different ages as well. Older people, younger kids. There's all different backgrounds. So how do you please them all? It's quite tricky. I wish I just had one audience. Bang, yep, that's who I'm performing to, and it's a lot easier to write to. They're my audience, and that's what but it's quite a big, wide variety of ages and different backgrounds, nationalities, and people come to see me. But yeah, what do you do? That guy was offended because I didn't talk about it. And if I did all Turkish material, the rest of the crowd would be saying, "Mate, you did too much Turkish stuff." You know what I mean? You can't win. You can't win, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You mentioned about comedy clubs and whatnot. Now that a lot of comedy is available online, your Netflix and all these sorts of streaming services now have heaps of comedians. Do you feel that traditional old school stand-up comedy is now coming to an end, and now we're moving towards, well, if you want to be a famous comedian, you want to have a viewer base, you want to be able to monetize your craft, then the best way to do it is just go online and do it. That's it. You're better off doing it in front of a YouTube camera than doing it in...
I think what you're saying is there's definitely a shortcut now to some fame and stardom these days. There's no doubt about it. You just go online, you get a following, bang, and you can monetize it, but because when I started, it certainly wasn't like that. You had to do the hard yards. For 18 months, I remember when I started open mic nights, for 18 months, I was in the open mic nights. So I remember maybe even 2 years, but definitely 18 months, where I would go to every open mic night I could find, 3 times a week. Can I get up? No. Okay, I'll watch. Can I get up? Yes. Okay, I'm up. Trying to get as much stage time
That's unpaid?
Unpaid, all unpaid, just 3 nights a week, for as much as I could get up. Travelling everywhere, all over Sydney, getting up, travelling in Melbourne, getting up. Yeah, can I get up? I want to see what the Melbourne crowd's like. Just getting up, so... but these days, there's definitely, you can build a following, quick, smart.
But how loyal is that following? Sometimes I feel that...
Well, when they come and watch you live, it's a different thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to produce, right?
Yeah.
So, but the traditional live comedy will never, because that's a different experience. You watch something even online, it's just... But to be with other humans in a room, hear the laughter, and enjoy, and then seeing things like... Because that's why I love to improvise, because I know I'm doing a show that's unique that night. So when I improvise, some people think, have you planned to talk to that guy? No, I've not planned anything. It's actually harder to plan. Imagine I turn up to a gig, I say this, you say that, then I'm going to talk to you. It'd be so much harder. Yeah. I find improvising easier. Let me just go with the flow and whatever comes, and I'm not scared. Like people go, because a lot of other comedians say, well, you're never scared to go to the audience. No, I'm not scared, because whatever happens, happens. If it doesn't happen, I'll just move on. It's not the end of the world. I can always get a laugh and just move on somewhere. But yeah, live comedy, I think that experience is always going to be there, because things happen on a live show and the audience react different to improvisation. That's why I love it, because they know, hang on, he's doing something now that we're seeing, we're not going to see again. It's happening right now. Now a waitress will come and the place will go flying, and we'll have a big laugh about it. I'll get us sacked.
So what's like the ratio of improv to scripted content?
Depends on the audience and my mood. So
it changes
all the time.
How about our event? How much was scripted there?
Which one?
At our event.
I knew the segments I wanted to do, but I didn't know what the answers they were going to give me.
Right.
So I'll go with that. I don't know who I'm meeting, their backgrounds, what they're going to do. So I'll watch what they're doing and comment on that. You know what I mean? So it depends. So I'm commentating live, and we're getting laughs out of it as well. So yeah, it depends how playful the audience is with me, and sometimes they're very playful. And as a performer, I pick that up. Honestly, I've done shows sometimes, and I've done it. I go, okay, this audience just want to sit back and just hear and not get involved. Fair enough, I respect that, and I just do my material and do the show. But sometimes they're very playful. But it depends on the audience. Really.
I have to ask. There was a part at our event when you picked out on one of our staff members.
Yeah,
Steve. Do you remember that?
Which I didn't know was a staff member.
Afghan Steve.
Yeah, I didn't know he was a staff member at all.
Did you actually hear Steve? Or did you hear his real name and actually change it to Steve?
No, I thought he said Steve.
You heard it?
Yeah.
I actually thought you just made it up.
No, I thought I heard Steve. Yeah.
Man, but since that day, all we've been saying Steve in the office.
Yeah, Steve the Afghan, right?
Probably the highlight.
Was that his name? What was it? What's his name?
Wasim.
I thought he said Steve. I don't know. Wasim.
I think he might have actually said Steve.
No, he said Wasim.
No. You said Wasim?
You can tell. You can see how he would have heard Steve.
Yeah.
Because he said it. What's he? Did you say Steve? I think, but when I said Steve, I think he said, "You can call me Steve," and I thought, okay, well that must be his name then. And I went along with it. Anyway.
I'm gonna ask you about something completely different. Female comedians. It's a well-known fact. It's like on TikTok, there'll be a female comedian that goes on stage, tries to make a joke. It's horrible, and then he goes viral on how horrible female comedians are. What are your opinions on female comedians? And is there a future for them?
Oh, of course, there's a future for them. Of course, there's a future for them. I think they get unfair rap. It's hard. Look, it's pretty hard because it's tougher. There's no doubt, because if a female comedian is playing to a predominantly male audience, and they've got to go through some cat calls and different stuff, and I have a lot of respect, honestly. And the good ones come through and they're incredible. Like there's like Kitty Flanagan. There's a heaps of others, like Denise Scott. She's been around for quite a while. There's up and comers coming through, and I believe that the gender shouldn't matter. Like and unfortunately it does to some audience members, and that's sad in a way. They should just see a comedian whether it's male and female. It shouldn't matter, but then it's up to the performer to deliver the goods. So sometimes, I see female comedians and go, "Oh, the audience suck because I was a female." I go, "No, I think you should look at your material first, because why? How come there's other heaps of great, fantastic female comedians that are killing and doing so well, and they've gone beyond they get beyond the gender. It's irrelevant. Doesn't matter. Should just be up there as a comedian. It's definitely. When I say it's tougher, it's also easier, because if you're good, you get recognised faster. Mm-hmm. If you're a good male comedian, well, there's a lot more,
competition.
But there's probably a lot more male comedians. But but if you're a female comedian, you're good, you get recognised a lot faster. So in a way, they've got that advantage as well, and you've got disadvantages. But I think it shouldn't matter. But to some audiences it does. But it shouldn't matter. You should just see a comedian up there. But yeah, of course, there's a future for it. I didn't realise I was a dying breed. You probably get all these complaints now. Oh my God, there's no future for female comedians. What? Don't quote that, by the way.
But it's interesting how you bring up material as one of the potential issues for them, because what I see from the best comedians is they sort of make a commentary or a talk about social issues, about even when you talked about the Queen, right? What I see is you're talking about, this is just too extravagant, 3 days for a funeral.
Yeah.
Muslims are here. If you see a person die in Afghanistan from an attack or something, the whole community comes out, brings the body, does the funeral just like that. All done. 1 hour. Yeah.
Pick up the pieces and call it a day.
Yeah. So I think the best comedians are the ones who commentate on that stuff. But what we see from female comedians sometimes is for some reason they focus on the female part.
Well, exactly. So some audience members go, I can't relate to that, and they switch off or they call out, whatever. So that's my point. Maybe I think they need to go beyond all that, and some are fantastic. They're so funny, and that's the whole thing. You got to get the audience. You listen to the audience. There's someone got to listen to. I know what you're saying, and when I do the Queen stuff, for example. Some people think, oh my God, is this too soon? That's what they're thinking. Well, others should be saying, look at this guy. He's fresh. This has just happened, and he's just making a joke about it, and he's doing it in a clever way, and relating it back to Turkish Idol. It's a callback as well. Really, if you look at it, oh my God, there's a lot of elements in that. But yeah, the normal person wouldn't think, oh, did he just make fun of the Queen? No. I did not.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers.
But that's what that's what they're hearing. There's a lot
do you look at everything that's happening in the current world and be like, how can I turn that into a joke?
Look, I don't. But I do hear things. Okay, that could be funny, or that material. Because really, everything you can make funny comments on everything, really. But as soon as these days, when you first start, you don't know what's funny and what's not, because you think, oh, that's going to be funny. That's going to be a killer. And you go on stage and you go, oh my God, it was rubbish.
Give us an example of that, where it just didn't work out, you left red-faced.
I remember doing a joke on the GST.
Okay.
When it was, you guys are all younger, right? You don't know when the GST was first introduced.
Right.
Quite a while ago, but I remember the debate about it. And because all your lives you would have GST, right?
Yeah.
But there was, get this, guys, get this. There was a time when there was no GST. Wow. Yeah. I know, it blows your mind, right? Just what it cost was what it cost. $100 was $100.
Yeah.
And I remember when they were introducing it, and I was one of those advocates, no, this is a trap, don't do it. They go, oh no, it's working over. It says, no. It's everything's going to be more expensive. And they said, no, it's only for essential goods and services. No, that's how they started. And then they trick you. But anyway, I I was a lone voice. There was a lot of people against it, but anyway, I made a joke about the GST and I remember there was a car called the GTS.
Okay.
Yeah, the GTS. You know the GTS. Like, I think they're still around. And so I put it with a Lebanese guy. He couldn't understand. What do you mean? I've got to pay like tax, the GST, like, you know, and it wasn't working. It was just falling flat until I made him like not understand what it was. So I played around with it like for a while, like, you know, and then I go, what do you mean like I've got to pay GST? Like, what do you mean like the new tax? I've had my GTS for ages, like, so. And then once they understood, like, he was talking about the GST, and they started working. But I remember, but early on, like, you, of course I don't do that joke anymore. But early on, like, you know, you're not sure, but as you get more experienced, the hit rate is like nowadays, like pretty much I go, yep, 90%. That's going to work. I know it's going to work. Like, or I'll make it work. You know, very. But back there, when you first started, it's percentage very, very different. This is going to be funny. Oh my God, it's rubbish. But now I can say, yeah, that's going to be a good bit, or that joke's going to work, or, you know. And you realise comedy is not about the words. So that's where the new comedians make a mistake. They come on, they go, well, it's all about performance. It's all about, you know, performing, making the crowd go with it, like feel what you're saying. Like, you know, you can get laughs out of a look, a pause, a turnaround, a body action. But when you first start, all you do is rely on the words. It's a mistake. Yeah. There's a free advice.
That's good advice.
What do you think the current state of the comedians are? Do you think the current comedians are funny?
Yeah, look, I did. I remember I wrote a comedy course for the Sydney Comedy Store, and we did it. And then I just got too busy. I just couldn't do it. Like, we might put it online, but one of the rules which I had was there's no rules on comedy. You know, some comedians go, oh my God, like you should be just standing up with a microphone, or you should be using props. I use props. I do magic. I do whatever. I don't care. I have no rules. I can't say. I mean, who are you to decide what stand-up comedy is? You know what I mean? Like, some people think, oh, you should just be standing up and talking to a microphone. Yeah, well, get stuffed. Like, are you the person to decide? Like, no. The thing is this: the audience don't care. All they care about is, am I being entertained or not? And how that happens is up to the performer on stage. So whether you use a guitar, something, a piano, keyboard, prop, magic, whatever, do it. Because the audience don't care. All they care about is just entertain me and make it funny. You know what I mean? So no rules on comedy. That's one of my things I did in my course. No rules. Because how do I know how the next person is coming? You know, you could be the next comedian and you have a different take on something. Why should we put boundaries and parameters on what comedy is? Because all these new people coming in, different techniques, different styles, different things that we haven't thought of, which I love that. So there's always new comedians coming up. It's beautiful to see. Different, you know, different views, different presentations. It's beautiful.
What do you think about comedians now who are moving more into the political space? Where they're becoming like political commentators or social commentators. You got like Trevor Noah, you got all these guys coming out now saying that, okay, you know what, I built up my credibility and I built up my follower base through making them laugh, but now I've become their reference point. And now I'm their guide. I'm going to tell them how to vote and what to do and what not. And it's almost like with sport, you know, people who try to blend politics into sport. You go to a comedy club, you connect to a comedian, you follow a comedian to be entertained, to forget about the worries of life. Yeah. And all of a sudden now the same person is now connecting you back to your woes about, you know, the economy or your political views or blah, blah, blah.
It's a good point, and I don't like it personally, but if that's their thing, that's their thing.
Do you feel like the guns for hire?
They can be.
Because they have a following and they incorporate politics. They probably get paid by Biden or something.
For endorsing something.
Do this, make a joke about this, make fun of Trump, make me look better.
Sometimes I don't mind when sometimes they do it for positive. Like sometimes they do it for like if they want to, you know, if they want to highlight something that's happened, like a government, or sometimes like, you know, or support a person or individual, you know, but usually like it's certainly something I don't do because it's just not my thing. And I choose not to do it. But yeah, sometimes you just don't know what each individual person's situation story is. Like, you know, I mean, maybe that like Trevor Noah feels that he's got to go there. I don't know. Like, not that I follow him much, to be honest, but I'm not sure what
It's not funny anyway, man.
His stickers.
I hate him.
It's pretty, but that's it. He's been known as that's his thing. Talk about culture, racism, and he probably that feeds into like political stuff. You know? I mean, it's not bad, but like he's just.
No, but everything is political. He's always on one side of something.
It's not comedy anymore at that point.
Yeah.
Because
I see what he's saying. Yeah, because I can't comment because I don't really follow him. I mean, I've seen him, of course, and I wasn't aware that he was that political.
It's because of the show that he's on. It's because he's on the Daily Show and it's got a left-leaning sort of a view. When it's meant to be like news to an extent, but in a comedic way. But then when he goes off stage, that comes with him now.
There's different agendas happening. You're right. You're right. I mean, and geez, I love South. South Africa was like. Yeah. South Africa is a political country, though.
Very much
very
so.
Political, and that's his upbringing. Don't forget. Yeah. So really, that's his. You got to think where he's come from, and it's his thing. And a lot of people love it. Yeah. You guys might not like it, but a lot of people do love it. Like, you know?
What I find interesting is that when Dave Chappelle left, he went to Africa. So he went to South Africa and then he came back to the States.
Yeah.
And what was interesting is now he like all the comedy that he does to an extent has an element of that politics in it, but he does it in a way without giving his own opinion on it, but to just let each person have the understanding of what each other side is feeling.
I like that. So he gives a balance.
Yeah. So if you're right wing, he tries to let you experience what it is to be someone who's left wing, and then so he's trying to expose both sides, and then in his own way give the logic between the two, and then then it's up to you. But this is it in a nutshell, and laugh about it. That's what I've found.
On the whole South Africa thing now, you've been to South Africa before.
Yeah, I did the Celebrity Jungle Show.
Celebrity Jungle Show.
2019, I think it was. Yeah, so season 5. And I remember when it first came up. Like I love this because
I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out of Here. Is that the one? I'm a
Celebrity Get Me Out of Here.
Right. Okay.
Season 5. It was actually the last season that we actually did. Because they always film in South Africa, right? Before COVID hit, and now they've got to film in Australia like before. And I often thought, why go all that way to South African jungle? Yeah. Why can't we just film in the bushes in Bankstown? Or
people go on holiday to
the jungle.
You know what I mean? Nobody's going to know any better. So build some bushes and things. We just pretend we're in the jungle. But the set was already built there, and I realised when I got there it was a set, and there's different countries use it, so it's actually cheaper. It's already built. Everything's built. The sleeping quarters, the camera places, the cameras situations, the shower things, the where Julia Morrison, Dr. Chris Brown have where everything's built apart. Everything's built, stays. So that's probably why they do it. But I did remember it's a long way to go to do a show. But for me, I loved it. Because I love to experience different things in life, and not everybody is able to experience what I just experienced. Yeah. Even if you're a billionaire, you're not allowed to go there. Sorry. Yeah. Like you're going to be selected, and so I thought it's an experience. Beautiful. Yeah, I'm all over it.
Did you actually eat like nothing and slept on it? Or was it all for camera?
No.
Did you fly to a 5-star hotel after?
No, not at all. I was all
actual living that life.
So you actually immersed in that.
People think like it was like, the camera's finished and there's a buffet on the left-hand side.
Yeah. It's a cut. And then
maybe you're supposed to say that.
It's in a contract with the M&Ms and everything.
Yeah. No, NDA.
Basically, like they say you fly over there and then they keep everything hidden, don't forget. So you're not allowed to see who else is there. So all 12 of us, or how many people went in, but it was all kept separate. So because when you see who's there, you react for the first time who's there. And so I'm staying in my hotel room. I've got someone with me too, not staying with me, but they're there as well, and they take me wherever I need to go, and always keep an eye on, make sure I can't interact with other people. And I went on a safari several times. I loved it. Yes, let's go. Let's have a look at the safari, and saw lions and everything. It was amazing, the whole thing. And I'm scared of all that sort of stuff. So I'm in my room. I'm in this big thing, staying in a safari park. And there's little bugs and things. It's summer. I'm freaking out. I'm seeing like a little lizard. What's going on here? I'm freaking out. It's just at night time. There was like my bed had those sheets over it, like, because I go, what's this for? Obviously for mosquitoes and things, and so I'm covering every little bit, zipping it all up, nothing can get in. Like I'm really, this is freaking me out. I'm not even in the jungle. I'm freaking out, right? And they should have filmed all that because it would have been hilarious. But in the jungle, like it starts, and I snuck food in.
Oh no!
Like, so I had
Kebab just.
yeah, I got some biscuits and I snuck it in. I put I put a banana in aluminium foil. Put that in my pants.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I thought if someone feel, they go, "Can we feel it? Oh, is that a banana or?" Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm just happy to see you. I had that. I had some little biscuit wrappers. I had some little things like, so I thought I'm going to sneak some food in, like, So I go there. Once I get in there, first thing I do, I go to the toilet because I know there's no cameras there. There's cameras everywhere. Wherever you walk, there's cameras picking you up. In the toilet, no cameras.
So in the toilet eating a banana.
Close the toilet. No, I wasn't eating banana. That's where I did my stash. I close the toilet, and there's like basic toilets, like just a basic toilet with rocks everywhere, and and like a little just a bamboo door closed, and I moved the rocks. I put the banana, put my biscuits, my protein bars, everything's it's there now. No one knows it's there, right? It's all covered. It's all wrapped too. It's all wrapped because I'm going to make sure everything's wrapped. And now I know my stash is there, right? It's there. So but I couldn't eat it. I was just too nervous to even eat it. And then they said, listen, we know everyone's got contraband. So people started pulling out of their bags like that. First round I didn't do anything. They did it again. Come on, we know you got. I thought maybe they know. I panicked. Maybe they know about my stash in the toilet. And then I go, okay, I've got a stash. What? They didn't know about it. I didn't know. They didn't think anybody would hide in the toilet. It was me, yes. I could have been in there like eating my protein. And so we had to give it all up. But I think for the first 3 days, I only ate rice and beans. And they give you only like a third of a cup. Like literally, rice and beans that much is cooked. And you can have unlimited water. So I was drinking 3-4 litres of water a day. But just a little bit of rice and beans. And severely restricted calories, severely. And I realised for the first, it didn't worry me. I go, was this about as good? I mean, I was loving the experience. People don't realise how much I loved it. I don't think the producers realised how much I loved that experience. I was going, wow, this is it. And look where we are. I'm in the jungle for the first time. I'm camping. I've never camped in my life. They didn't think I've never camped. Turkish people don't camp.
No, we don't camp.
We don't camp. We don't go bushwalking.
No, nothing.
Yeah, what are you going bushwalking for? You get lost. Come back. We don't camp. We don't do all that sort of stuff. So everything's new to me. A fire. Oh my god, a fire. Marshmallow over the fire. Whoa, oh my god, this is blowing my mind. Like that. And they're looking at you. I go, yeah, I'm serious. They go, and I remember them saying, oh, everything's like really wowing you. I go, because it's true. It's wowing me. I go, this is amazing. Like I'm getting just, and the whole thing is sleeping outdoors. We had a little tarp, but we're actually outdoors. And then people are just going to bed. I'm awake. I go, what's going on here? How could you sleep?
Yeah.
Look where we are. There's 26 cameras. There's a noise of the baboons calling out. There's noise of all the critters in the jungle.
Was it protected though?
It was protected. But having said that, you're not going to stop snakes going in.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they go, everybody leave the camp. What happened? What's going on? We found a snake in the camp. What? And then, what are we leaving? And then trying to catch it. It's already gone in the rocks and bushes. So it's a great show. There's been spiders coming and crawling on people.
Oh, no.
There's been all sorts of things. The snakes come through camp. So that can, a snake can bite you. There's a bit of danger there. But yeah, the whole thing was just, I'm looking at, because I'm into TV as well, I'm looking at how they're doing it, and this is amazing, and the whole experience, meeting people, and you become friends. Like, you're sharing 24 hours a day with these people.
Who were you with?
I was with Justine Schofield, the celebrity chef.
Yeah.
A couple of footballers, Dermot Brereton,
Okay.
and Shane Crawford. Luke Jacobs, the actor. Evie and Angie, Angie was on The Bachelorette. They were on the Gogglebox actually. So those girls are great. They're all fantastic, honestly. Everyone was really, really good. And just become friends because you're sharing all day, every day, 24 hours. And you're getting up in the morning making breakfast. I'm collecting firewood. which is exciting for me. You know, bringing it back, and then you make. When I say breakfast, it's rice and beans. That's it. and then that's got to survive for lunch as well, and then whatever you win at dinner time. But my team, my season, they separated the haves and have-nots. So our team lost the first 3 challenges, so we just eating rice and beans, nothing else. You know, but eventually you get into ketosis, it's beautiful. So I think we all eat too much, and when you cut down the calories and get to keto, you feel fantastic.
Yep.
I'm feeling good. I'm sleeping. This is amazing.
There's energy there you've done.
I'm feeling fantastic. So we're still hungry, but you feel good. And I remember one time they had ice cream. We won a challenge. We got ice cream, 2 big scoops chocolate ice cream. And I ate it. I just enjoyed it so much, and I finished it all. And I thought, because I don't know, maybe my body just breathed it in. Like did I just have that? You know what I mean? Did I just eat that ice cream? I remember clearly thinking, because if I gave you big ice cream now, 2 big chocolate scoops, you think, okay, you feel like, yeah, I've eaten it, I can feel it, I'm full. But I remember thinking, was that just a dream?
Yeah.
I felt like my body just breathed it in and it was all gone, like, you know. And Dermot, Dermot Brereton, and he's a big AFL footballer, and he wasn't going to the toilet, right? 7 days, no number 2. Jeez. His body was using up everything.
Wow.
And every day he goes, Tahir, I haven't been. We discuss that every day. Okay, look at me, I'm discussing with AFL legend whether he's done a shit or not. Hey, Dermot, have you done a shit today? No, mate. Don't worry, mate, it'll come soon.
So every day he's waking up, it's like...
This is the weirdest chat I'm having. Like, this AFL legend, great bloke. And we're going, I'm going, mate, go to see the doctor 7 days. It's not normal. But his body was using up. He was losing weight. His body's
no, it happens. I had the exact same experience as him.
Yeah.
So I went 26-kilometer hike in year 9.
Yep.
With camp, tents and everything for 5 days. No shits. I was worried the whole time that I have to use leaves or something, or it was raining the whole time.
Because your body was like, did you have restricted calories? Is that what happened?
Yeah. So and because I didn't want to shit as well, even though I didn't need to.
That's right.
In the end, I didn't need to, but I actually planned my food.
Yeah.
So what I did was, do you know those like oat protein bars?
Yeah.
I only ate that. Everyone else was eating pasta, having shit left, right, and center, and tuna and whatever. I just had that and beef jerky. The driest, densest food.
But even when I was younger, I didn't feel comfortable. Even like there was called the short drop and the long drop. And what was weird, because the long drop, there's no automatic flush. We had to clean the take out the buckets every now and then. But like when you, because I'm in some sort of barn, some sort of wooden, like thing with rocks all around me with some sort of slim door. It was really weird. Like I'm not comfortable, but like learn to do it. But we had. After you finish your business, they had coal, like the black coal and some sticks, like wooden chips. And
they burn it.
Yeah, but it was amazing. Like no smell. It was incredible. It actually works. Like we should be doing this in real life. It actually takes away this smell. So that was handy. But I remember day 8, he came. Dermot was very excited, and he came. He goes, "What happened?" I go, "What happened? What's going on?" So I just did a shit. And then we hugged. 2 grown men hugging because he took a shit.
After a week.
It was amazing. So things like that happened, but it was an incredible. I would go back in a heartbeat to do the experience again. It was a beautiful, like for me, it was a different experience. And I don't think they realised how scared I was of stuff. I don't think that, because sometimes they don't believe it, but I'm generally scared of heights. Like, if they gave me some height challenge, I would have been, I think they missed a couple of tricks. I would have been genuinely scared. Genuinely. Like, I freeze, I hold on to stuff, like, and to eat stuff, I would have been, I think they missed, because I did a couple of challenges, but they were sort of more physical rather than like eating stuff or heights. And, but yeah, I think they had no idea. When I left about 5 days from the end. I stayed there for about a month. And got great feedback, and because you don't know how people see you, but they said you're very calm and you're funny, and there was a lot of funny stuff I did which they didn't show as well, because they want a bit more drama. Fair enough, I'll give them drama next time. But when I left and you had to cross a bridge, it was just a bridge. I was scared of that. Like if you see that footage, I don't know if you I went on my hands and knees, walking, and they thought, he's funny, he's been a comedian, but I was genuinely scared. And that wasn't even a challenge. It was just crossing a bridge to say hello to the host. And they thought, he's fine. I go, no, I'm like, this bridge is wobbly. I'm not liking this bridge. Like, on my hands and knees, just walking like. So I think they missed the boat, but it was just overall tremendous experience. It's with me forever. Like, I love it. Just the smell of now fire can take me back. It was a beautiful experience.
After this podcast, they're going to watch this. They're going to see, okay, these are the things that's inviting back.
Yeah.
These are all the challenges now that you're going to do.
Because you know what happened in the first season? Like, Andrew Flintoff is a famous cricketer for England. He said all the opposite things. So he said, like, I'm scared of this and that, and he wasn't. So he breezed through. When he did it, it breezed through. But I was just honest. I said, yeah, I am scared of heights, and I'm not sure if they thought I was lying or not, but I genuinely am, and the food and all that, it would have disgusted me. But they never gave it to me. Like, I was dunked in a container full of elephant urine and things and all this sort of stuff. As bull's testicles and stuff like that. Because things are dumped on you, like, you know. Yeah. So, yeah, if you got a question wrong. And the first one was like, we're going to drop these South African stinging nettles. I don't know, some sort of, these are the leaves of nothing. Then they start stinging. These are the worst ones. Get them off. Yeah. Like, you know, they were the worst ones. Of like the prickly stuff, like, you know. And then
those things.
Yeah, that was really. But yeah, overall, it was just great. Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Mm-hmm. So where to from here? What are you up to now?
Where to? Look, I'm always working on stuff. I'm one of those guys that love to have 10 things on the go. I love it. Like, some people think just work on one project and that's it. But I love. I always tell people I'm like a chef. Like, you know, with 10 things happening on the stove and they're heating things up all the time like that. And I enjoy that. I enjoy. You know, I'm doing like a big stage show at the moment. Once Upon a Time in Lebanon, big cast. I'm working on always different TV pitches and different ideas. I love to do a children's movie, which I'm writing and working. I've got a great story and concept. I would love to do a drama, which I love about. It's heavy drama, which I won't go into, but it's a heavy drama. Then I've got something which I love to do. Which is just for certain fans, like, you know what I mean, like of UFC fighting, which is a different thing altogether. So I love to do. People think, this guy's a comedian. I love to do different stuff. I can do it. Why not? Anybody. I say to people, anybody can do anything. Don't be just pigeonholed just because people pigeonhole you. But I would love to do like a children's movie, because I think why not? I would love to do a children's movie, not animation. I can't compete with that. I don't have $200 million in the bank to compete with the children. But I believe I can do something with children watch just normal acting. But it's a family movie. I believe there's a gap in the market for that. Like, so, and it's called The Naughty Factory. That's the title of my movie. And
did you register it?
I'm registering now.
Someone might pinch it.
So let us know.
I'm registering now.
And then if
people are watching it, it's registered.
Yeah.
So, look, working on a lot of different stuff which I love, and keep entertaining the people. And I used to say early on, I used to tell people I'm a Turkish comedian, and we're all, there's no others, because we're busy with kebab shops and stuff like. And I used to say that on purpose, because I always wanted more Turkish comedians to come out and pursue it full time. There's a few, but there's not full time comedians. Like, I was trying to encourage people to come out in the arts and theatres, and it never really happened. But you never know. It might. There's a few. I always run some Turkish actors and performers, but not comedians as much. Yeah.
I've got a bit of a selfish question here. So I've always wanted to go out and make a film. So I studied entertainment, and I used to act as a child. So I was always on and off sets, and a lot of my family's in the industry and things like that. And I guess one of the biggest things that you come across, or the issues would be, is trying to get the funding for those films, because you wanting to go out and making all types of films. It's a feature-length film. It's lots of money trying to get this done, and then having to go on and distribute the film as well. How do you tackle those issues?
Well, the funding is always an issue, right? But I don't think that's the main issue, because these days it's it's actually easier to make a movie than getting a TV show up. Everybody will tell you that, right? It's actually easier, because we could do a movie. We could do a movie, these days you get access to cameras, and they're not the big expensive cameras anymore. They're expensive, but not in the good old days. They were very expensive and hard to get. And you had to hire a certain money. But these days, anyway, it's the distribution. You hit the nail on the head. we can all make a movie tomorrow. Who's going to watch it? We need distribution. We need people. Like, that's why people don't go, I made a movie. Okay, that's great. I respect that. And because a lot of people talk about movies, so if you actually went to trouble making it, respect, hats off, number one. Because you've actually gone and done something about it. A lot of people talk about it. A lot of people come and say to me, Tahir, I want to become an actor. Really? Great. What have you done about it? Nothing. Well, what do you expect? Someone's going to come just knock on your door and say, come into my movie? Like, it's competitive. Like, you know, like, you got to do something. Go take a course. Educate yourself. You know, do something. Be proactive. Go with other people. Do some with like-minded people. Like, do something about it. They think they're just going to be at home, and someone's going to say, "Come on, I want to make you a star." Like, so, we could do a movie tomorrow. Like, you know, like, honestly, but now the distribution is the key. Like, who's going to show it, and obviously, if you've done other things, it's easier. Like, you say, okay, yeah, these guys got some runs on the board. We can show their movie, but do the deal. But so that's the key. That's the key. Funding's one, but distribution is like second. Like, because when you do a movie, like, how many prints are you going to do of it? Who's going to show it? Like, the cinemas want to show it, but are they going to be shown everywhere like a big American blockbuster? Unfortunately, in Australia, we tend to watch those movies rather than local productions, which is sad. Aussie movie, come on, support your locals, support your people. Come on, but yeah,
and then it's the budget to market.
We don't
that
have
as
the
well.
budget to compete with their big Hollywood. Like, you know, I used to make a joke about the Fast and Furious. I go, Fast and Furious, I saw that movie, not that good, you know. I doubt they'll make a second one. They're up to number 12 or something. Okay, and this is a cookie, it's exactly the same movie.
It's still not that
Done
good.
12 times, but there's a fan base out there, so you've got to respect that. There's people that love the cars and the chase and all that sort of stuff, and so they're giving people what they want, which is, again, like, I respect it. You know, some people want to watch that, great, I love that, and they're hitting our market. So, yeah, so let's do a movie.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm happy for that. I'll send you a message tomorrow
You got to keep
morning.
your word. It's on camera. There's a contractual agreement.
So there's a movie that's on its way for everyone.
Children's movie, it's on its way.
Naughty Factory.
The Naughty Factory.
Yeah.
With these guys, you've got to roll.
100%.
You too.
Yeah.
Before we wrap things up, any last questions?
Do you think do you ever worry about the future in terms of creativity? Because obviously you get to express yourself, and you know you have to pitch things, and whether or not it gets support, you know, you don't know. But nowadays you see people support things that don't really have creativity. For example, you could become an influencer with a lot of brands supporting you just for lip syncing.
I know.
What's with that? That's
Showing a body.
yeah, it's like it's so mundane, but they get so much support, whereas people like you come up with original thoughts, original ideas.
I don't really worry about that because I think there's actually more opportunity for people these days. There's so many, you can start your own YouTube channel, you can start all sorts of different things. There's so much more access these days. But what you're also asking is, yeah, people are getting famous for no reason at all. And I do a Kim Kardashian, right? I'll throw a question out there to you guys, okay? She had
I didn't watch your tape.
Huh?
I didn't watch
But
it.
I'm just telling you as an example, right? And there's a joke I've been working on, which I haven't really done. So again, another scoop, fresh, just for your podcast. Kim Kardashian has got 13.9 million followers or something like that. And she's getting 275,000 a day, right? After 1 week, what does she have? Still big. You see the point?
Yeah.
Like, so these guys, oh, I'm famous. Are you? What? Because you're showing, you know, a bit of bikini, or like, okay. Do you realise why those people are following you, or like how you got this become famous? Like, just, I mean, look, that's a different thing. But for creativity, I think there's more. I'm not worried because there's actually more than ever. So the creative person, the fresh idea, the original, the great performer will always come through. Will always come through, like, you know. And as I said, I want to do the children's movie because I know that that's global, and it gives you the best chance for people to get their return back. So yeah, trust me.
I trust you.
All right. Now, before we wrap up, I ask out of interest questions, which is 10 rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
You could take as long as you want or as slow as you want. Okay.
Okay. This is getting scary, guys.
Nah,
Also exciting.
These are okay. Question number 1: what is your go-to at a Turkish restaurant?
Adana kebab.
What do you eat in it?
I get the thing, but so the no ishkender. That's like I love the ishkender. Like I'll take the Adana. I love the freshness, the wrap. But I get everything. The garlic, onion, a whole lot.
The whole lot. Chili sauce, garlic sauce,
everything.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Pure Turk right here.
Yeah.
Well, who's your modern day favorite comedian?
Modern day favorite comedian? I mean, look, he's a mate of mine, but I love Joe Vardi.
Okay.
You heard of Joe Vardi, the Italian? He's been I started with him, and I don't think he gets a lot of support from the Italian community and now others, but I don't think a lot of other comedians know just how good he is. There's a lot of comedians I can watch, but so some comedians I can watch over and over again. So I've toured with him. I don't get sick of watching his routines, and that's a good sign. You know, like you go, okay, you're watching the same. But some acts I'll watch, I go, I don't want to see that again. Yeah, that's was a good sign. But yeah, he's a friend of mine. I think he's one of the world's best.
What's your favorite joke?
My favorite joke?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a hard one. That's a tough one. Favorite joke? Because my routine's always changing. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So it's like if you see me this week and see me next week, it's going to be pretty similar. But if you see me now and a couple of years down the track, it's like a conveyor belt. Some jokes leave, other jokes turn up. You know. But yeah, I can't. That's a hard one. Yeah, it's a tough one.
Afghan Steve, that's up there, man.
Yeah,
that was up
Afghan
there, man.
Steve.
I was dying. I was literally on the ground, gonna die.
He looked at me and he just died.
And that was not even one of my jokes.
This wasn't even a joke.
Yeah,
it wasn't even a joke. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't give you the favourite joke, but it's
it's all right.
too hard.
Most famous person you performed in front of?
Sorry, excuse me. Mate, okay, I've got a story. I was doing a show at the Sydney Comedy Store. True story, this. And my show was called The Complete Guide to Being a Racist.
You put that now, it's game over.
Yeah, it was great. 5-star reviews. I did Adelaide Fringe came. It was packed. It was really good. And it was really good because I was making a point of there's different types of racism. I was trying to get people educated. Like there's different types of casual. Most of us are not racist. We know the difference between right and wrong. But unfortunately, there's still white Australia groups in Australia, which is really sad. They still exist. Incredible. You know. Then I had a wheel of racism, where I had different races, and you spun it, and whatever came up, that was you. You know, casual, whatever, and that in itself was a racist wheel. And I was trying to explain, sometimes you get branded, even when you're not branded, just because someone said, "Oh, you're racist," or this or something. They just use it willy nilly. Anyway, I was doing a solo show, 1 hour show at the Sydney Comedy Store, packed audience. I'm backstage by myself, getting ready, and then Mel Gibson.
Oh no way!
Was doing a show, was doing a movie, right at the time in Sydney. One of his movies, I don't know which one, and he was going out with his Russian girlfriend at that time, and then he decides to come to my show, out of nowhere, right? I didn't know. Then the sound guy comes back and he goes, "Hey, Tahir, guess what? Mel Gibson's in the audience." All right. Then the manager comes, "Mel Gibson's in the audience." Okay. Then the waiter comes, "Well, Mel Gibson, okay, well, relax. What do you want me to do about it, right? He's in the audience. Let him enjoy himself, right?"
Did you not get excited?
Yeah, because I thought, let's let him enjoy himself later. And I knew what I was going to do. I certainly wasn't going to go out there and say, "Ladies and gentlemen, Mel Gibson's here." I didn't do that. I let him just relax. He wants a night off, watching a show. Because I remember, the reason I didn't do that, I'll tell you, I remember Chris Rock turned up to the Sydney Comedy Store as an audience member. And they did it. They said, "Chris Rock's here, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Rock's here." Guess what happened for the rest of the show?
Everyone's focusing on you.
So they would listen to the joke, right? And they'd all look to Chris Rock to see if he laughed or not. Yeah. After every joke. Yeah, he enjoyed that one. I did like that one. So I didn't want to do that. I knew, and plus I just want to let him go and just enjoy the show, right? He turned up and all my family were there as well. Like there's some family friends that actually sat in the same section as him because they got a little reserved section and they put him there, put him in some nice seats, and they said he was laughing, he was really enjoying himself throughout the whole show because I was being silly and he was understanding what I was doing as a performer. And basically there's another show after me and they'd queue up, there's the regular comedy, I was doing my individual show, which was a full house basically, and then there was a regular line-up show after me. So the regular crowds lined up, ready to come in, and they went to him, Mel, he's just about to finish. 10 seconds before I finished, they said, he goes, okay, so just get him out early. So it's not like, not hassle. He just wants a night out. And then he left with his Russian girlfriend just 10 seconds before I finished. And then the audience that were coming for the next show, they saw Mel Gibson leaving.
They all left.
And they're going, was Mel Gibson just watching Tahir's show? Did he just come out of Tahir's show, just came out? And I never spoke to him, of course. I never knew what he'd laughed the whole way. And he just, he just want to come out, watch a show with his girlfriend and leave, you know what I mean? Just not to be hassled. He doesn't want to be, like, sometimes he wants a night out like that. So that was the most famous person, I think. There's been other people that watch my show. Russell Crowe has seen me perform.
Russell Crowe's also massive.
Yeah, it's massive. Why'd you pick up?
That's huge.
No, but I want to give you that story, like, you know.
Oh, yeah.
He's come to comedy galas and he loves comedy. Russell Crowe, like, I love his stuff. And of course, I did shows with Rebel Wilson, who's now, like, she was on the show. Now she's a superstar.
Yeah.
And there would have been other people along the way, but those two come to mind.
That's A-list right there.
Yeah.
That's solid. Favorite superhero?
Favorite superhero?
Yeah. You can't say you're Habib Fat Pieces or anything. Just
No.
actual superhero.
Like a cartoon?
Marvel, DC.
Anyone you like.
Because I always say, like, people go, who are your heroes? I say always my parents, because of what they did and how you migrated to a country on the other side of the planet, like, But if you want to go superhero, I don't mind Captain America because he's something like he's defending his country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I quite like that. He's Captain America. Like, and I don't mind that. There should be a captain there should be a Captain Pakistan. You know what I mean? I would love that.
Corrupted one, man.
No, he wouldn't be corrupt. Like, he would protect everything for the best interest of the country, which holds back a lot of countries. Like, that's a different thing. Captain South Africa, it'd be awesome. Like, just
It's Nelson Mandela, man.
Yeah, we've lost him now. So
I know.
We're in a
like,
downhill trajectory.
That's right. But there's something good because there's other superheroes that have all these different powers. But as far as I can tell, he just has a shield.
Yeah.
And he's just protecting his country. So, but heroes, my parents.
So are they still with us in this world?
My mum is still.
What is your deepest fear?
Deepest fear? Good question. Very good question. Deepest fear is my family go before me, which I've always thought about. I would hate that, honestly. I would just... deepest fear is about your family, children, kids, all that sort of stuff. And you just... It's very cliche, but you just want normality.
Yeah.
That's when people are born, that's what people say, I just want a normal, healthy baby. Like, people take it for granted, but there's so many parents have so many complications, different stuff, and they get one in a million disease or something happens, and that's why I volunteer for charities called Save Our Sons. One of them. So 99% hits boys, and they're born normal. You think, and then eventually there's a missing chromosome, and then there's nothing they can do. Eventually they end up in a wheelchair by the time they're 20s, and then they pass away. So I volunteer for them, and Special Olympics, which is not... So it's Down syndrome, all these sort of kids with this sort of stuff, which I love. They're the most loving, beautiful kids you'll ever see. So I get asked a lot of charities, so instead of just doing willy-nilly stuff, I thought, let me pick two and devote my time to it. The Save Our Sons is... The founder is... His son's suffering from it. You can see the pain and the hurt, but he's doing his best to find a cure for other families, other kids, and they're getting close. It's beautiful, like, and there's just, it's just, and that was my charity when I was in the jungle as well, and people thought, oh my God, like, the kid around Australia with families suffering from it, they said, can't believe you were raising awareness to it, forget the money, just the awareness, and you don't feel like you're alone. So yeah.
How many kids do you have anyway?
I have 2 in every state.
I don't know if that's a joke.
Sorry, it's a joke. That's why I was touring around everywhere.
So the reason that you're touring is not because you actually have to go on tour. It's I need to visit all my kids in every state. I just happen to do shows on the side.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. So yeah, that's my biggest fear. But Yeah, it's always a fear, I think, for a lot of parents and people, really.
If you're going to have a dinner date with anyone, past, present, future, who would it be?
Oh, it's an easy one. Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a man who transcended his sport. It became more than boxing, and he used that power for the good of the world. Like, it was incredible. And whether you love boxing or not, anywhere on the planet, people knew him. Isn't that amazing?
It's an icon.
He took a sport and he went beyond that. And it wasn't only religion, he brought other stuff into it. Like, it was incredible.
Yeah.
Like, what he did to be a superstar of the planet. It was either him and close second Elvis Presley. Just because again, he broke barriers for a different reason. People don't realise what he did at the time. Like, how he brought the black community and the music and the whites. Like, it was incredible. And he was the genuine superstar. He's very generous as well. But Muhammad Ali first, and he was an incredible human being.
Most famous person on your phone?
I think we mentioned some of them. I think so. Rebel Wilson.
You have a mobile number?
I do. So she.
What?
We work together.
Okay.
And when she comes back to Australia, we have caught up at times. We've gone out for a feed to catch up, see what's happening. And she comes back a lot because her family's still in Sydney, and she's probably, but at the time she was just another colleague, but she's become an international superstar. But who else do I have? I've got a lot of sports people in my phone. You know what I mean, with all the sports actors. But she'd probably be the most international. I don't have Russell Crowe's number.
That'd be amazing.
I don't have Mel Gibson's number.
Yeah. Is Rebel
going? He texted me.
Is she going to join us for the film that we're going to make?
I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to get it. Yeah, we'd get funding straight away.
Yeah.
So that's another shortcut.
That's it.
Get a name, bang, funding straight away.
That's it.
Yeah,
so you get the
me
funding.
To your project, bang, you get funding. But it'll be in cash.
I was going to ask you a joke that didn't work, but you told us. So I'll skip that one. Unless one of you want to ask a quick rapid fire question. Not really. Come on, guys.
Covered a lot, man. We've gone deep.
Yeah.
It's really good. Yeah, it's been good. I like that when we go deep beyond the...
I enjoy it.
What advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
18, this is a good question, because the first thing I say is don't go to uni.
100% agree with that
Don't go to university. Like, I'm going, because at the time I went to uni, and I was just pleasing my parents or whatever, you know what I mean? Because right now, still to this day, my mum still is waiting for me, true story, right, to get a job. When are you going to get a job?
Yeah.
I swear to God, because she sees a job as in an office, working somewhere, working, legal firm or something where you go, have a briefcase, suit and tie, and you go there, come back, and you get paid every week. And I tell her mum, I said, I've been doing this for like 25 years now, but she's still in her head, why don't you just get a normal job like everyone else? So maybe I did that, teaching just to please her, but I generally love teaching, and I love kids and all that sort of stuff. But I would say 18-year-old, just get into it straight away. Don't waste time. There's every opportunity available, more so now for people than ever. Like, honestly, whatever you want to do, it's there. Don't let people get in your way. Like, for me, look at me. There's so many obstacles I just flew out of the way. Like, no, you can't create a TV show. You can't be there. You can't do the stage shows. You can't do movies, whatever. Like, I can. Even now, like, people, maybe there's other comedians that don't respect me, or there's other people, executives, like, oh no, this guy, he just does the ethnic stuff, I've got to fight against that. Oh, he just does the ethnic, but no, I don't. People don't see what I've done. They don't see the shows I've done. They don't see how many different hats I put on or what I've created, like, over the years, like, so if I was 18, I'd just go for it. Don't waste time. Get straight into comedy, get started, start pitching stuff, start doing stuff. Don't let a no get in your way. That's what a lot of people go, oh no, sorry, the door's closed, there's no other way in. No, there's plenty of ways in. There's plenty of ways, and there's plenty of ways to do stuff. Don't let people tell you how things should be. Because what do they know? What do they know? There's the best book in Hollywood. I forget who wrote it, but like, it was a great book. But its title was "Nobody Knows Anything." Nobody knows anything. And it was a great thing because, especially in my business, in movies and movies and acting and theatre, people are making stuff up. There's no book. Nobody knows anything. People just fake their way through. Honestly. So just do whatever you have to do. Like if you've got to be the person creating it, do it. Invent it. So yeah, remember that. Nobody knows anything. Fake your way through until you make it, even if you have to. So yeah,
that's a really good advice. I 100% agree with that one because I'm one of the very few people that says don't go uni. Absolute waste of time.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, I'm not saying for everyone. Like obviously for some people, you got to go there and get a certain job. I get that, but for me personally, for that question was like, man, I could have just wasted. But maybe I wasn't mentally mature enough. That's the other thing. So I had to go through that, like go through uni, because I wasn't mentally mature enough to maybe start. But there's other things you got to wait till you certain age. Maybe you're ready to do certain stuff. But for me, I enjoyed it, but I could have saved some time. Yeah, that's not the be and end all. You can do things different ways. There's different courses, there's different ways to do it. But if you want something, you can go after and do it.
Yeah, the world is fast paced now. Wasting 3-4 years on a degree is absolutely. Even Elon Musk even says now that it's a complete waste of time, degrees and whatnot. But before we wrap up, I got a gift for you.
Oh wow!
I'm hoping you love this.
Yeah, cool.
Here we go.
Oh yeah, I wanted one of those t-shirts.
There you
Fantastic.
go. I saved one for you.
Yeah,
like I said on the night, there's only 23 of these printed.
Oh, awesome! Thank you.
One of the lucky ones with it.
I want to wear this on TV somewhere.
Just don't wear it at the airport.
I want to wear this during the airport.
Don't do it.
Please do it.
Ali did it. I was in a suit and he wore this, right? So we're walking through, and then they pull him aside and they pull me aside, and they ask him,
"What does this mean?
What does that mean?" And he had to explain what was happening. And then I got patted down for bomb detection at the airport.
Because he was with me.
Because I was with him.
That's what I mean. You had a great chance. You said, don't ask me. He's my leader. Because
I'm in the suit.
And you would let you off. Get the leader.
Thanks. You could use that as a prop in like one of your next shows.
Oh, this is awesome.
It's the A6.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
But
really good.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming, Tahir. It was an absolute pleasure. Your social media, Tahir Comedian, right? Tahir Comedian. You can follow him on Instagram.
And the book that's coming.
And the book is coming. What's the title of the book?
The title of the book will be...
Is it registered?
No, it's not registered, but like I'm actually doing a show touring next year with it.
Okay.
It's called The Proper Way to Be an Immigrant. And I think that's going to be the title of my book.
All right,
The Proper Way to Be an Immigrant. And it's all about coming to a new country, but still having your values, but also embracing your country as well. The proper. But thanks a lot for the chat, guys. Thank you. So you've done a bit of research. We've got a couple of scoops. Yeah. Really good. So
solid.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tahir. Any last words?
Thank you.
Any last words?
Thank you so much.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
What a chat. This should be a TV show.
You can.
That's what we're aiming for.
Yeah.
That's what
It's a nice show with Ali.
That's it.
I need my crew.
Yeah.
I need my crew.
No, thank you, guys. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Tahir.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Good stuff.
How long did this go for?
1.5 hours, man.
Yeah. It's 2 o'clock.
An hour and a half.
This is awesome. Yeah, so because I've got a lot of different stories and stuff. Like, and once I get going, it just it just doesn't stop.
It's solid.
No, it's solid.
It's great. It's great.
It's really
No, but
good.
you'll be able to you can cut that up. Heaps of content. And sometimes when if you have a lot, trying to do one, do you do several episodes? I've done podcasts before when they go, okay, you know what, there was so much stuff there. Rather than trying to put it all in one, have part 1, part 2. Or part
this one was long, so Reza, we might want to actually break this one apart.
Yeah,
that's
I'd
what I'm
say
saying.
so.
You have parts 1, parts 2. Yeah. So people enjoy that.
I'd definitely say so.
Would come in part 2. That's if you feel like you've got enough content and what you need, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's great. Good chatting, boys.
Appreciate it.
Felt comfortable. Yeah, this should be a TV show. What do you want to do? Do you want to do a movie?
Yeah.
What's your goal?
So I want to go out and make films. So I straight out of
Compton.
So I grew up on and off films, on and off all kinds of sets and things like that, right? And I would do voiceovers and radio ads and things, and I'd go onto sets, and I really loved it. And my uncle was the one who got me into film. So he's a radio DJ in South Africa,
Right.
and he also is an actor and a producer, and he makes films, and he goes out. He actually shot a film, and he made a film, and it's in South Africa, and he worked all his life to do this. And the family was so happy that he finally got it done.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. It was awesome. I'm waiting for it to come onto Netflix. I'll send it to everyone. And he does this with his wife. His wife also works with him, and she produces his films as well. And I just love that. And he got me into acting, and he'd bring me onto these sets and into his studios when he was working, and I would act with, and then he got me an agent. I'd go for auditions and things like that. And there was one time and this is like really what made me love this. So I used to do martial arts, right? And then they were shooting a sequel, or was a prequel to The Scorpion King in South Africa.
Yep.
So I auditioned to be the young version of The Rock, right? And then I had to do I had to do an action sequence, a fight sequence. And because I had a martial arts background, I had to train for this fight sequence. So I'm doing a fight sequence in the auditions and things like that. And I'm like, man, like I have to learn like all of this stuff, and I have to like hit this person hits me, and all of this. And then at the end of the day, I didn't get that role, and they gave it to an actual stunt person. I'm like, why would you put me through all of this when you just gave it to a stunt person? But they gave me another role in the
Right.
and I was the young crying boy.
Yeah.
So then I had one line where I think I had to say very serious as a child, to tell them, the king has commanded us to the arena, and I had to tell that to like and that was my line, right? And then I got hired away like as a young slave or something, and then the worst part of it all was, so we get the film, comes out on DVD or Blu-ray, whatever. We get the film,
Oh no.
and then we go to watch it, right? The scene was in there, right? But I sounded too old, so they dubbed it with a female.
Oh my god.
And I didn't know about this at all. And now the entire family is there
Oh no.
watching this happen, right?
Yeah.
And they all die of laughter. And I'm sitting there as a child, taking all of this trauma in, and they're like, stop it, rewind. They did it 14 times. I'm each time the same amount of laughter.
Yeah.
It didn't get less funny. And then they're like, this is
I love
good.
those moments. I auditioned for the Water Diviner. Remember the one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I was going well, and Russell Crowe gave me notes. He goes, "Oh man, that was great," and this and that. And then in the end, like casting, like you can't take things personal. Just casting director ruined it. Like, he goes, "You could do it this way, do it that way," and then it went to a Greek actor. I said, "If there's one movie I should be in, it should be that one." You know what I mean? God, they can actually speak a little bit of Turkish, but I think, like, honestly, you got to just do your own projects.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So I was like,
your own stuff.
I lost my creative control in that moment where they took my voice away.
Oh, you got to see Here Come the Habib. It went through all these different processes. You lose control. Like in the movie, you can keep some of them, but that's what. Look, with a children's movie, like I've got, it's not Australian. It's like international. I've got an international audience in mind.